your own sorrows. This is the USSR. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. You know, I was going to wait till tomorrow to do my Bracketology 5.0, but guys, it's moving so quickly. I need to do an update today, guys. It is Friday morning. We have crazy games. Quick update on the games that happened yesterday. Duke bounced from the ACC. I think everyone's honestly happy about that. We know Duke, they had some momentum. They had a little coronavirus case, but honestly, I'm sick of hearing about Duke. All they talk about is like COVID. We know Coach K earlier this year when they were like 2-4 was like, oh, we should cancel college basketball due to COVID. Whatever, get Duke out of here. Duke is irrelevant at this point. You can see Florida State won 1-0 there. That was a nice matchup quality. I wanted to see that game, but Florida State advances, guys. I'm not high on Florida State. I'm really not high on Florida State. How about Oklahoma State beating West Virginia? Not really high on either of these teams. I did think West Virginia was going to win. North Carolina handling Virginia Tech. Very nice win by North Carolina. They're trending upwards right now, guys. They're trending upwards. Rutgers beats Indiana. Indiana officially eliminated from, NCAA tournament contention. We've got Kansas over Oklahoma. The score really wasn't as close. Kansas was controlling that entire game. They were up huge at half, and they hung on there at the end. But yeah, Kansas is they're really looking good right now. They look like a 3 or 4 seed. In Oklahoma, I'll be picking them to lose in round 1. I don't like them at all. How about Seton Hall on the bubble gets a big win against St. John's? St. John's is going to need a miracle if they want to make the tournament. Virginia coming back to beat Syracuse. Really tough loss for Syracuse. They're right on the bubble. That's a good loss. It's not like Virginia's a bad team, but it's tough. Michigan State, I believe they'll still be in the tournament. It's a bad loss to Maryland. They were up by a lot and they lost. This is a surprise. How about Kentucky losing to Mississippi State? Kentucky, I thought they had some momentum. They were down the entire game until they were up. There was about 4 minutes left. They were up by 3. I thought they were going to win it. They lose. How about Wisconsin hanging on against the good Penn State team? I really do like Penn State. They're not going to make the tournament, but Wisconsin was controlling that game, and then they were barely able to win it there. USC beating Utah in double overtime. I did not see that game, guys. It was a late one. Really nice win for USC. I'm not buying either of these teams, though, especially USC. I know they're a top 25 teams. I'm not buying it. Ohio State, much needed to win against Minnesota. They didn't play well. Ohio State was up, I think, 12-0 to start this game. They were completely controlling it. It got close towards the middle of the second half. Ohio State goes up by 14 with 4 minutes left, and they just can't close games. And you're up by 1 with like 25 seconds left. They're barely able to get it done. They have a big test. We'll be talking about that. How about Villanova getting knocked out of the Big East? I don't like the Big East this year. It's a watered-down conference. Florida handling Vanderbilt. I think we all expected that. Missouri beating Georgia by 3. These are the other games. How about UCLA getting taken down by Oregon State in overtime? There were some really nice Pac-12 games yesterday. Oregon looks good. They're playing in a watered-down, bad conference, but they're handling their business. They beat an interesting Arizona State team. They're a talented Arizona State team, not a good one, but they win by 18. They were projected to win by 9, so that's a nice win for them. Other games, Georgia Tech handles a young upstart Miami team. They win that one by 4. Love Georgia Tech. How about Colorado beating Cal? Cal kind of making it after their upset win the day before. Baylor barely beating Kansas State. Guys, let's not overreact to that. It was not a good performance by Baylor, but they were able to, they were able to get it done. These are just the other games. How about Miami of Ohio? It's unfortunate. I was expecting Miami of Ohio to do some big things. Montana, guys, I will be rooting for Montana. I spent a few days in Montana. I had some interesting experiences there, so I'll be rooting for Montana to win and get the auto bid there. Just some other games, as we can see. Moving on to today's matchups, which are all set. We had a lot of TBD games you're looking at. I really don't agree with this best matchup overall. We've got UConn and Creighton. Creighton getting a big win yesterday. I'm really not buying the Big East. I'm not a fan of it. How about Colorado at USC? I can see that being a good matchup. 11:30, that's a rough tip time for me. I don't know about staying up for that one. North Carolina, Florida State, that's a good game, and I think North Carolina's going to win. Ohio State at Purdue. So this is a really interesting dynamic on this game. Ohio State's lost both times during the regular season to Purdue. The first game, they did not not have E.J. Liddell. It was an away game. The second game, they were completely controlling the entire game and then lost on a late 3. But Ohio State is trending downward right now. And Purdue, they got the double bye over Ohio State. Ohio State is the 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Purdue is the 4 seed. But Ohio State looks like 2.5-point favorites here. Really high matchup quality. The 2 o'clock window for the Buckeyes, again, be a very interesting game. Ohio State hoping Maryland can take down Michigan. That would set up an Ohio State-Maryland semifinal game. But if Michigan beats Maryland, that would be a very tough matchup for Ohio State having to take on Michigan. Texas and Kansas is a great game. I like Texas in this one slightly. Florida and Tennessee. I like Florida. Give me Florida in that one. How about Wisconsin at Iowa? Should be pretty easy for Iowa, although they just beat Wisconsin. It's tough to beat a team 2 times in like the span of a week. Wisconsin coming off that 1-point win. Georgia Tech, Virginia. Give me Georgia Tech to win that game. I know they're the underdog. I like them. These are just some other games. Missouri and Arkansas, the battle of the overrateds. How about this matchup quality? North Texas, Louisiana Tech. Beautiful. And then Michigan gets the 11:30 a.m. window. We'll see if they come out sluggish against Maryland. That's a Maryland team that just had an impressive win against Michigan State, a blowout win. But Maryland's been Michigan's sex slave throughout this entire season. Both times they faced Michigan, they got completely blown out, and it was an embarrassment. We'll see if Maryland can kind of stand up to the big bully that is Michigan. I don't think they will, but I'm expecting a Michigan win, especially after that tough loss they had to end the season. How about Rutgers at Illinois? Give me Illinois in that one. They're looking really good. We've got Oklahoma State at Baylor. Yes, I'll take Baylor. Baylor played bad. I know. I'm not a fan of Oklahoma State. I'm not buying them. Mississippi State at Alabama. You know, Alabama's always, they're prone for an upset because they rely on the 3-pointers so much. I really don't like any SEC team, so really, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Mississippi State somehow won this game, but obviously it's not like Mississippi State is this super team. Alabama probably should win that one. Georgetown at Seton Hall. Seton Hall gets the benefit of Georgetown knocking off Villanova, so they get Seton Hall, Seton Hall gets Georgetown. Should be a decently easy game for Seton Hall as they look to lock up their tournament big. Western Kentucky, I like them over UAB. We'll have to see with that one. Other games, looking for other games. How about Montana? I'll be rooting for Montana. Eastern Washington. What a season they've had. How about a 10 o'clock start? You're not even getting, that's not even on ESPN Plus. What a joke that is. Give me a break. How about Rick Pitino and Iona? We'll see if they can win their conference tournament. They're looking good. Utah Valley, New Mexico State. We've got Southern Utah. We've heard about Southern Utah. They're a team that's trying to get an auto bid. How about Northwestern State? God, I'm rooting for them. Over Nichols, I would love to see them get the auto bid. And then we've got an uncontested game. Looks like North Carolina A&T, they could not get their COVID situation under control. They lost 1-0, it looks like. And Norfolk State will move on in their conference tournament. Guys, I found this interesting. I actually am starting to really agree with the KenPom rankings right now. I will say the one disagreement is Michigan over Baylor. I think it's a bit too reactionary. I know Baylor didn't look good yesterday in their first conference tournament game, so it looks like KenPom barely knocked them down. You take a look at Gonzaga, far and away the number 1 overall team according to KenPom, 6 points ahead of Michigan and Baylor. And then you've got an Iowa team with a great offense and a really bad defense. Although their defensive rating has improved recently, I would take Illinois over Iowa. Houston, I'm not buying Houston, but I can understand why they're there. Ohio State, okay. Loyola, Chicago, I don't get. But guys, you take a look. How about Purdue being ranked 12th? I think that would surprise a lot of people. And then the teams that KenPom really doesn't like, Oklahoma State, I agree with that. And Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost again yesterday. I'm not buying Oklahoma. They're going to go into the tournament as a 6 seed. I'm not buying Tennessee over Texas here. I think Texas is a top 15 team personally. I like that they have West Virginia ranked low. I'm not buying them at all. LSU is ranked this high because of their offense, and KenPom weighs heavily into their offense. Guys, I didn't have it pulled up. I'm choking. I'm sorry. Come on. This is the bracket matrix, and as you can see, we've got the consensus for number 1 overall seeds that will likely be set in that order, I would guess, with Gonzaga, Baylor, Michigan, and Illinois. Alabama looks locked for a 2 seed, so does Iowa. Ohio State at this point after their win over Minnesota. If Ohio State had lost to Minnesota, they would have got bumped down to a 3, and they would have deserved it, honestly. They just did not play well. but they were able to win that. Ohio State's kind of an interesting case. I think if they beat Purdue, they're a lock for a 2 seed. If they lose to Purdue, they still probably get a 2 seed. But if another team from another conference makes a run in a conference tournament, it's not going to be West Virginia. It could be Kansas. Like if Kansas wins their conference tournament, I could see them getting bumped over them. Arkansas, I really can't. They just have no resume. Villanova's obviously already out. Oklahoma State's not winning the Big 12. Then there's Texas. I don't see Texas jumping to the 2 line at this point. Purdue. If Purdue wins the Big 10, I don't see it happening. I mean, they would at least move to the top of the 3 line because they would have beaten Ohio State, Michigan, and then probably Illinois, because I expect Illinois to get to the Big Ten championship game, or Iowa, but I would expect Illinois. But guys, just looking at the overall bubble, taking a look at some of the 11 seeds. Maryland, obviously, after their big win over Michigan State. Where's Michigan State at? Oh, Michigan State's right next to Maryland. Okay, I think Michigan State's a lock for the field. I think Maryland is too after their big win. Louisville is there. We'll have to see with them. We've got Wichita State, and I really do hope Drake makes it personally. You've got Syracuse. Syracuse has had some nice wins. Obviously, that tough loss yesterday to Virginia. If they would have beaten Virginia, they would be a lock to make the tournament. We've got the other teams. We've got Ole Miss trending upward a little. I don't see them making it, though. The SEC is just too weak. Utah State, they've been kind of on that border for a while. Xavier, I think they got knocked out of it. St. Louis out of the Atlantic 10. Seton Hall, we'll see. They have an easier matchup. Duke is out. They can go get more COVID cases. But guys, that'll pretty much do it. Where is, again, they just disrespecting it. But guys, that's going to do it for this rendition of Bracketology. This is 5.0, 6.0 probably coming tomorrow, and then we get Selection Sunday. We will see what happens with these games. There's a lot of big ones today, guys. And then when it comes to Saturday, it's there's UMass Lowell. We know the story, guys. They're 3-point underdogs. They win. They're in as a 15 seed, maybe a 14 seed. But guys, what about them as an at-large bid, maybe? Let's start to think about that. Let's not disrespect UMass Lowell here. And there's really nothing I can do when it comes to these games. They're all TBD, to be determined. So the winners of all the Friday games will play on Saturday, and we will see that. Ohio State, if they win, they will likely face Michigan. We would expect Iowa to take on Illinois, unless Wisconsin's able to get the upset win. Rutgers, I do not expect to have much of a chance against Illinois. Michigan, I expect to beat Maryland. If you're an Ohio State fan, you're rooting for Maryland. If Ohio State's able to beat Purdue and then Michigan loses to Maryland, Ohio State would face Maryland in the semifinals, which would be phenomenal for them, but I don't expect it to happen. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I am, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.